Hi guys, welcome back to Math with OG. In this video, we'll be introducing a new topic which we like to call sets. I believe most of us are familiar with the word set or we've heard the word set before. In mathematics, a set is simply a collection of well-defined objects. Emphasis on the well-defined. Now the question is, what do we mean by well-defined? Someone can come up with a theorem that there's a collection of rich people in the world, and if you are being asked who are the rich people in the world, you start calling names like the likes of Bill Gates, the likes of Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, as the case may be. So that is possible in a world outside mathematics. In mathematics, when there is no rule to define to decide whether an element is part of the set or a person is part of the set or an animal is part of the set, when there's no rule to decide that, we don't consider that to be a set. So I can boldly tell you that a collection of rich people, or rather a set of rich people, is not considered a set in mathematics, because here, as you can see, for a set to be well defined, there must be a rule to determine whether an element is a member of the set or not. It's as simple as that. You might consider that someone who has up to 100 million naira in his account is a wealthy person or a rich person, but that will not be the case if you have someone having up to $1 billion in his or her account. You will consider that person to be a poor man. So that set is not well defined. But if I rephrase that statement to a set of people who has more than $1 billion in their account, now that is a set in mathematics, because you can easily tell if someone has more than $1 billion in his or her account. What do? You go to the bank and check his or her bank statement. As easy as that. So a set of rich people is not defined, but a set of billionaires in dollars is well defined. So we'll consider that to be a set. So I have a group of sets or a collection of sets in our day-to-day life. Now we'll decide if these sets are actually well defined. That means if we consider them to be sets in mathematics. So when you understand what we consider to be sets in mathematics, I believe that you've understood the basic of sets in mathematics. Then we can now move on to a new topic, which is representation of sets. Now let's play with these questions. The very first question here, as you can see, a collection of short students in a class. Is that well defined? That is not well defined. You might consider someone to be short, another person will consider that person to be short. So I believe if I'm to rephrase this to make this a set, I can say that a collection of students whose height is less than 5 feet. So that's a set. So you measure the person height. If the person is less than 5 feet, the person belongs to that particular set. But when you measure the person's height, the person is more than 5 feet or equal to 5 feet, that person will not be a member of that particular class. So a collection of short students in a class is not well defined, so that's not a set in mathematics. However, a collection of students whose height is less than 5 feet is well defined. Now the next one, the collection of all months of a year beginning with J. That is well defined because you can easily tell if a month of the year is beginning with J. You have just 12 months, and I believe just January, June and July begins with J. So they are the members of this set. Next one, the collection of 10 most talented writers in India. So who are we to decide if someone is talented or not? I believe there's no rule guiding who is talented or who is not talented. So this set here is not well defined. You cannot tell if someone is talented or not, or rather, telling if someone is talented or not leads to an argument. So since there's an argument, means it's not well defined. A might consider the person talented, while B will not consider the person talented. The next question, a team of 11 best cricket batsmen of the world. This too is not well defined. So I can rephrase it and change that to football. You see some people arguing that Jesus Navas is a good footballer. Someone else will say no, he's not a good footballer. Some will argue that Bobby Firmino is a good footballer. Another will argue that no, he's not a good footballer. So no matter how good you are, it can be argued if you are good or not based on human perception. But if you now say a collection of footballers who have scored more than 100 goals in their career, I believe that is what well defined. So this guy here is not well defined. Next one, a collection of ugly girls in Nigeria. So this happens to be very funny. because you can't tell if someone is ugly or not, or if a girl is ugly or not. I know some of you might think that it is easy to tell if a girl is ugly or not, but I'll put it to you that it's not as easy as you think, because that person you consider to be ugly will actually get married. That means her husband found her to be very beautiful. So you cannot tell if a girl is ugly or not. What you consider ugly, another person consider beauty. Next one, a collection of all natural numbers less than 100. Natural numbers are simply positive whole numbers. So we'll get to a set of real number system. So when we get there, you understand what natural numbers are. But for now, just know that natural numbers are positive whole numbers. So we can list all the positive whole numbers that are less than 100. So this guy is well defined. So we can tell if a member, if an element is a member of the set or not. The next one, a collection of novels written by William Shakespeare. I believe this is well defined. So a novel is either written by William Shakespeare or not written by William Shakespeare. So it's very easy to know if an element is part of the set or not. Now that we know how to decide if a set is well defined or not, now next video we'll move on to representation of sets. So how do we represent sets? These sets that we just consider as sets in mathematics, how do we represent them? So that's what we'll be looking at in our next video. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, kindly use the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share to friends. And if you have any issues with anything we've mentioned, you can leave that in the comment section. If you have any question to ask, also leave that in the comment section. Thanks for watching once more, and see you guys in my next video.